Good afternoon, students. In last class, we discussed reproduction in flowering plants, chapter number 2. So it is completed. So today we discussed in the same first unit, chapter number 3, human reproduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process in which all the living organisms, they produce their young ones of their own kind to continue its race from one generation to another. So such entire process, a phenomenon what we are called as reproduction. So in living organisms, the reproduction by two ways, that is the two types of reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction, which is occurred most of the in primitive organisms along with that, also in higher plants also, that is by vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction, and sexual reproduction. So in human reproduction, human who reproduce sexually, that is sexual reproduction present in human. Human also reproduce sexually by involving two organisms of opposite sex, that is male and female. So those human reproduction which consisted in this chapter, we discussed, that is a male reproductive system, female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, parturition and lactation in this third chapter. So we discussed the topics of these male and female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, so at last parturition and lactation. In these topics, today we discussed that is a male reproductive system. So before that, we discussed about that male reproductive system. What are the events of human reproduction? Events of human reproduction. So there's different events. So these events are gametogenesis, insemination, fertilization, implantation, gestation and parturition. What are these events? So these events which occurred in human reproduction, that is the first one is gametogenesis. What is gametogenesis? In previous classes also we discussed that. Gametogenesis is nothing but formation and maturation of gametes. Formation and maturation of gametes in gonads. Which are the gonads? That is, testis is a male gonad. Testis is a male gonad which produce the male gamete is, that is the sperms. It is a male gamete. gonad is, that is male gonad is testis, which produce sperms on the male gamete. So as ovary is female gonad, ovary is female gamete, female gonad. So the ovary produce egg or ovum. It is the female gamete. So as like the gametogenesis is nothing but formation and maturation of those gametes like egg or sperm in gonads, that is testis or ovary. That is, testis is male gonad which produce male gamete, that is sperm. Ovary is a female gonad which produce egg or ovum, that is female gametes. So these formation and maturation of gametes, which is called as that is gametogenesis. The male gonad testis produce the sperms, which is called as spermatogenesis. The female gonad ovary, which produce egg or ovum, it is called oogenesis. So spermatogenesis, in which sperm produced in male gamete, male gonad. Oogenesis, there is formation and maturation of egg in ovary. That process what we are called as oogenesis. The spermatogenesis and oogenesis, the two types of gametogenesis. So it is the first event which is occurred in the first event of that is human reproduction. That is in which production of gametes in gonads. Second one is insemination. So insemination is nothing but transfer of sperms into female genital tract. Female genital tract or female reproductive system or into the uterus. The process of transfer of sperms into female genital tract, which is called as insemination, where at the time of transfer of sperms into the female genital tract, which is called as insemination, at the time of that is copulation. So the copulation by a male and female, during which the male transform, that is seminal fluid, that seminal fluid consists the sperms. Such phenomenon, that is insemination. Insemination is one of the event of that is human reproduction. The next event, that is fertilization. Here, the first one, gametogenesis, the formation of gametes. The second one is transfer of sperms into female genital tract, the seminal fluid which entered into uterus of a female reproductive system. So when the seminal fluid entered into uterus, the sperms present in that which swim towards the oviduct, where the egg is moving from ovary to uterus. So during which there is fertilization is occurred. The fertilization is nothing but fusion of sperm with egg. Fusion of sperm with egg to form zygote. Or fusion of haploid sperm with haploid egg to form diploid zygote, or fusion of haploid male gamete with haploid female gamete to form diploid zygote. Such phenomenon what we are called as fertilization. After fertilization, there is formation of diploid zygote. The zygote is the product of this fertilization. After zygote is formed, means after fertilization, the zygote may enter within 24 hours. It entered into cleavage or division. That is what we are called as cleavage stage of the zygote. It leads to formation of 2 cells. Next 4 cells, 8 cells. Like the zygote is divided and divided to form a mass of cells. So during which these zygote which developed, that is developmental stages of zygote. The next phenomenon that is implantation. So during implantation, the zygote development into blastocyst. The zygote, a single celled zygote, a one celled zygote. So already we know we are multicellular organisms. Millions of cells are there, but those are all cells. The entire body which is originated from a single cell, so that is the zygote. So these zygote which divided into 2 cells, which divided into 4 cells, which divided into 8 cells, which divided into once again 16 cells, that is 16 to 32 cell stage of embryo. The zygote developed into are divided into 16 to 32 cell stage of embryo, which is called as blastocyst. Blastocyst. So primitively, before 8 cells, we call it as morula, that is 3 embryonic stages, blastula and gastrula. So within 8 cell stage, which is called as morula, 16 to 32 cell stage, which is called blastula. So more than 32 cells, that is what we are called as gastrula. So after later in gastrula stage, a mass of cells which divided into 3 layers. So during blastula stage, what the cells called blastomers, that is 16 to 32 cells which are called as blastomers. 16 to 32 cells present in blastocyst which are called as blastomers. So these blastocysts which attach the endometrium of uterus or the wall of uterus. The wall of uterus which consists of 3 layers, that is endometrium, myometrium and perimetrium. So the uterus wall which consists of these 3 layers, in which the blastocyst which attach the endometrium of uterus, which is called as implantation, that is attachment of blastocyst on uterine wall. So that uterine wall is, that is endometrium. Attachment of blastocyst on uterine wall, such process what we are called as implantation. So implantation is nothing but those 32 cell stage of blastocyst which attach to endometrium layer of uterus. That is what we are called as implantation. So before that it is developed, the development of zygote is occurred, that is what we are called the zygote is divided to form 16 to 32 cells at the stage of blastomas, then the stage of what we are called as blastula stage, the cells called blastomas, that entire embryo which is called as blastocyst. The next event of human reproduction is gestation. Gestation is nothing but development of embryo, or the maturation stage of embryo, that is maturation of embryo in the womb of mother or in the uterus. Such phenomenon what we are called as gestation. This gestation period takes nearly 9 months. Up to 9 months, the gestation period from fertilization to till the ending of matured embryo. Sometimes in humans there is parturition of baby within 7 months, because within 6 months the structures of baby is completely developed. After that it will be take a duration of development, and maybe sometimes the parturition is occurred in 7 months. But that baby is completely matured, not completely matured. So as we differentiate a 9 months baby and 7 months baby, so who parturiate during 9 months and during 7 months, we differentiate both baby or both the babies of those. As commonly the gestation period is nearly 9 months. So the last event, that is parturition. So after maturation of baby, that is the embryo is completely matured. So delivery of fetus or child. So delivery of fetus is called as parturition. So that is starting from the human reproduction events, that is gametogenesis to parturition. So gametogenesis is nothing but formation and maturation of gametes in gonads, that is spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Spermatogenesis takes place in testis, oogenesis takes place in ovary. Insemination is nothing but transfer of a male gamete or sperms into a female genital tract. Fertilization is nothing but fusion of haploid male gamete, that is sperm, fused with the haploid female gamete, that is egg. It leads to formation of a diploid zygote. So implantation, that is development of zygote into blastocyst. That blastocyst or developed blastocyst is attached on a wall of endometrium, a wall of uterus, that is endometrium. Such phenomenon called that is implantation. Another one, that is gestation. It is nothing but development of baby or development of embryo. That is the gestation period. Up to that, the complete baby is developed. So after completely developed and matured, the matured baby, that is delivery of that fetus or child, it is called as, that is parturition. So these are the events which occurred in human reproduction. So in this chapter we discussed, that is a male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. A male reproductive system which consists a pair of testes. A pair of testes. Accessory ducts. Accessory glands and external genitalia. External genitalia. The male reproductive system, which consists an important a pair of testes, accessory ducts, accessory glands, and external genitalia. So the structure, the male reproductive system, which present just below the abdominal cavity. So that is in a pelvic region, that is below the pelvic cavity. So as you see, that is the cross section of the entire male reproductive system, which consists just which be present below the abdomen or abdominal cavity. So as so it is a male reproductive system diagram which consists a pair of testes. So one by one we discussed these that is parts of male reproductive system. So first that is testis. It is singular, testis is plural. Testis is a oval shaped structures. Oval shaped structures present below the abdominal cavity, that is outside the body. Outside the body. Each testis is 2 to 4 cm, that is 4 to 5 centimeter length, 4 to 5 centimeter length, 2 to 3 centimeter width. The testis, which is present outside the abdominal cavity, but at the time of before birth, both testes which present inside the cavity ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. So these testes which descend after birth, which descended after birth, but each testis covered a muscular sac, a muscular pouch. Muscular pouch. So these muscular pouch called scrotum. The muscular pouch called scrotum. So the scrotum is a leathery skin. Scrotum is a leathery skin. So as structurally it is the leathery skin, means it is a testis. Both testes which are present or which are covered with a folded skin, folded leathery skin, which is called as scrotum. So one of the importance of scrotum, which maintain low temperature. So how much temperature is decreased by these scrotum? So that is especially 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade of temperature, which decrease the normal internal body temperature. For example, normal internal body temperature that is 37 degrees centigrade means 37 degree centigrade, that is a healthy person's internal body temperature, whose scrotum or around the testis there is presence of 34.5 degree or 35 degree centigrade, means which prevent the low temperature in the scrotum. Why the scrotum which decrease or which prevent the high temperature as the body temperature? So because the less temperature in the scrotum, which encourage the spermatogenesis. That is nothing but less temperature, which helps to production of sperms or production of more sperms in the scrotum. That is, scrotum maintain the low temperature than internal body temperature. This scrotum which is present, which descended from the body, means both the testes which present inside the cavity, inside the pelvic cavity at the time of before birth. So after birth they will be descended. So at the time of descended there is presence of sac, a leathery sac called a leathery skin called scrotum. So maybe sometimes this scrotum, that is nothing but a leathery skin, a folded skin, at the time of external temperature is very less, means it is little bit folded. So fold agi ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ testis na. So these at the time of less temperature in external, automatically the scrotum which folded and which bring the testis towards the body kade ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So during which the testis which gain the temperature from the body in the temperature tower. If the temperature is increased, automatically the folded skin is once again may lose. So it is the scrotum which helps to maintain the temperature in the sac, that is the testis sac, or that is scrotum, that is a leathery pouch, a leathery skin, but that is scrotum. So each testis, which measure 4 to 5 centimeter length, 2 to 3 centimeter width. That is, it is the testis. Each testis, which is made up with a number of cells-like structures, a number of compartments which are present inside the inside the testis. So each testis, which consists nearly 250 compartments. 250 compartments. So these 250 compartments, which are called as testicular lobules. Testicular lobules. Each testis, which consists nearly 250 compartments. Those 250 compartments which are present inside the testis, which are called as, that is, testicular lobules. So just we write one of the testicular lobule. So it is the testicular lobule. One the testicular lobule na. Each testicular lobule, which consists 1 to 3 highly coiled structures called, that is, seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubules. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದನ್ನು ನಾವು seminiferous tubule ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. The testis, which consists of 250 compartments, which are called as testicular lobules. It is the testicular lobule. Each testicular lobule, which consists of 1 or 2 or 3. So these highly coiled tubules, those highly coiled tubules, which are called as seminiferous tubules. So it is the seminiferous tubule. So these seminiferous tubule, it is the seminiferous tubule. Inner to seminiferous tubule, which is made up with 2 types of cells. It is the seminiferous tubule. It is made up with 2 types of cells. Those 2 types of cells are male germ cells. Male germ cells. So another one, Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells. Each testis contain 250 testicular lobules. Each testicular lobule consists 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Each seminiferous tubule, which is made up with 2 types of cells, that is, male germ cells and Sertoli cells. So these male germ cells, which helps to formation of sperms. The male germ cells, which act as spermatogonial cells, which is also called as spermatogonium, in which meiosis occurred. It helps to production of each spermatogonial cell, which produce 4 sperms. The male germ cells, which helps to production of spermatogonia or sperm. Another one cell, that is Sertoli cell. These Sertoli cells are nutritive cells. Sertoli cells are nutritive cells. The nutritive cells are larger in size, which nourish the developmental sperms. The developmental sperms. So means the Sertoli cells which supply the food for developing sperms. So the male germ cells which produce spermatogonium, after its production the spermatogonium produce that is spermatozoa, which is also not completely developed, that is immature human sperms are formed by these male germ cells. After those immature sperms which attach to sperm, Sertoli cell ಆದರೆ ಈ ತರ number of immature human sperms which attach to Sertoli cells. So why they are attachment which gain the immature human sperms which gain the food from these Sertoli cell. Is Sertoli cell in the human sperms that is which gain the food and nutrients. So what it need for the development of sperms. So as the ovary, as it produce the male gamete, testis, the testis which produce male gametes, the testis which produce male gametes, that is sperms. The male germ cells which involved in meiotic cell division to produce sperms, that is haploid sperms. So these male germ cells are diploid condition. What they produce human sperm, it is the haploid condition. So haploid sperms or haploid male gametes are produced by these male germ cells. So even the testis which is also produce certain steroid hormones or male sex hormones. So those male sex hormones are called as androgens. Male sex hormones are called as androgens. Those androgens which are produced by, for example, testicular lobule. So there is presence of 1 to 3 coiled seminiferous tubule. In between the seminiferous tubules, there is presence of a mass of cells are there. Mass of cells. Will not go new. It is the sectioning of seminiferous tubule. So in between, in the testis, in between the seminiferous tubules, there is presence of a group of cells. That group of cells which are called as interstitial cells. Interstitial cells. Why those are interstitial cells called means in between the space what we are called as interstitium. Interstitium. It is the space. It is the cavity lines present in between these seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಜಾಗನ interstitium ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ interstitium ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ cells ಅನ್ನ interstitial cells ಅಂತೀವಿ. So those cells which are also called as Leydig cells. Very important. The interstitial cells of testis. Interstitial cells of testis are Leydig cells of testis which produce androgens. Androgen is male sex hormone. male sex hormone. For example, testosterone. Testosterone is a male sex hormone or androgen which is produced by interstitial cells of lining. So those which are produced by means the hormones which are produced by testis, as the testis is a male gonad which produces sperms and also which act as a endocrine gland. The testis act as a endocrine gland. So as it produces testosterone hormone. So after testis, that is accessory ducts. Accessory ducts. As the diagram shows, the accessory ducts, there are 4 accessory ducts are there. The accessory ducts which carry the sperms from testis to penis. Testis in the penis ಗೆ sperms ಅನ್ನು transport ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So there are 4 accessory ducts. They are rete testis, rete testis, second one is vasa efferentia, third one epididymis, fourth one vas deferens, vas deferens. So these are 4 accessory ducts. They are not clearly seen in this diagram. So just it is the ovary, testis, the testis which consists a number of testicular globules. Each testicular globule which consists 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Okay. See here, a set of tubes which originate from seminiferous tubules to seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules to vasa efferentia. So these tubes what we are called as rete testis, which connect the vasa efferentia. See here, these tubes are vasa efferentia. These vasa efferentia which linked with epididymis. These epididymis which connected with a ascended tube, that is vas deferens. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ vas deferens. So means rete testis originate from the seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule. which originate from seminiferous tubule, which connected with vas afferentia. Vasa afferentia. Vasa afferentia originate from rete which connected with these epididymis. The epididymis which is present, that is posterior portion of these testes. That is posterior to testis. These epididymis is a coma shaped. See here, just like a coma. That is coma shaped structures, coma shaped tubes. But these epididymis is highly coiled nature. There is presence of coiling nature in the epididymis. The epididymis originate from posterior portion of testis and which joined the ascending tube that is vas deferens. The vas deferens which joined, that is up to that ampullary region of that is the penis. So at the region of these means sometimes the immature the sperms which transported towards the ampullary region where there is collection of sperms up to ejaculation, or the storage of seminal fluid up to ejaculation. So up to ejaculation, the storage for that is little bit here. You will now note that is little bit thick. This will put the foil. So where the sperms which are stored up to ejaculation they are stored. So like it is the ampullary region of vas deferens which joined the that is urethral meatus, that is urethra which joined the urethra present in the penis region or in the external genitalia. So these are a set of ducts, the accessory ducts which send the sperms from testis to up to ejaculatory ducts, up to that is penis. At the tip of these vas deferens, which collect the seminal fluid from a set of accessory glands. So, are you understand those accessory ducts for rete testis, vas afferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. Vasa afferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. These four types of accessory ducts are a set of ducts which are accessory ducts which transport the sperms from testis to penis. Next. Accessory glands. So accessory glands are a pair of seminal vesicle a prostate gland, a pair of bulbourethral gland, or which is also called as Cowper's gland. Prostate gland. See here, there are three types of three types of accessory glands. A pair of seminal vesicles which are present at the tip of vas deferens. A large prostate gland which is completely covering the urethral meatus, a single prostate gland, and a pair of bulbourethral glands which is present lateral to the urethra. So these are a pair of seminal vesicles. It is 1, it is 2, it is 3. A pair of seminal vesicle which joined at the tip of these vas deferens also. A single prostate gland which is completely covered. For example, in the tube or a tube succlural, there is which encircling the urethra encircle this entire gland, that is prostate gland. And a pair of bulbourethral gland, or which are also called as Cowper's glands, those Cowper's glands which are present, that is lateral sides of these urethra, or that is just below the prostate gland. What is the function of these, which are all produce seminal plasma? Seminal plasma. That is seminal plasma secreted by these three types of accessory glands. These seminal plasma, which consist rich in fructose, and also calcium ions which are also present in that seminal plasma, and certain enzymes which is also present in that seminal plasma or in the seminal fluid. The fructose which used as food source, the calcium ions which helps to motility of sperm, the enzymes which are also required for the metabolic activities of those sperms, as the seminal plasma secreted by seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland, which produce that seminal plasma, the seminal plasma which consists of fructose, calcium and enzymes. So these are accessory glands. The accessory glands are three types of glands, that is a pair of prostate glands, a pair of seminal vesicle, a single prostate gland and a pair of bulbourethral gland, which are also called as Cowper's gland. So these glands which all constitute seminal plasma, that seminal plasma with sperms collectively called seminal fluid. These seminal fluid which released by the help of the external genitalia, that is penis. So the next external genitalia, that is external genitalia, that is penis. So the penis is a copulatory organ. A copulatory organ. The copulatory organ means which helps transfer of sperms into female genital tract. Female genital tract. So by the help of copulatory organ. See here, the penis which is having a long shaft. So that is so as it is the body of the penis, it is totally a shaft. This a long shaft which is made up with a specialized tissue. This specialized tissue which is called as erectile tissue. Erectile tissue. The body of penis which is made up with a special tissue called erectile tissue. The erectile tissue which helps to erection of penis. Erection of penis. At the time of copulation only, as it increases the size, as it is make it stiffness, or that is erection, that erection gained by the specialized tissue present in that penis, it is called as erection, that is erectile tissue. The tip portion of these penis, a swollen portion, that is swollen tip portion of penis, it is called as glans penis. Glans penis. This glans penis which is covered with a folded skin. The glans penis which covered with folded skin, the folded skin which is called as foreskin. It is having a pore, the end of the penis which is having a pore called urethral meatus. Urethral meatus. So these urethral meatus which release the seminal fluid and even that is urine. So here it is urethra, a long tube which connected, that is accessory glands and accessory ducts. That urethra ended with a small pore called urethral meatus, where the releasing of seminal fluid and urine. But both are not released at a time. Any one of the fluid is only released by these penis. Those both fluids which released in different times, both are not released at a time. So it is the total male reproductive system, that is a pair of testes, accessory glands, accessory ducts, and that is external genitalia. So next we continue the female reproductive system in the next class. Okay, thank you.